Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Licensing Subcommittee meeting. I have with me Councillor Knight, Councillor Bear-Green, myself as the elected members, and we have Trading Standards, the licensing team, of course, and yourselves. So what we'll do is we'll have a discussion and then we will go into recess and make a decision and come back. And when I call you, perhaps you could introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are. Apologies for absence. I don't think we have any. Declarations of interest from members. Any declarations? No. Okay, I'm just going to read this paragraph. The procedure the licensing panel will follow in considering the application is set out in the Licensing Act 2003, its attendant regulations, and was agreed by the Licensing Committee on the 2nd of February 2005. The licensing panel, in accordance with Rule 14 of the Licensing Act 2003 Hearings Regulations 2005, decide to exclude the public from all or part of the hearing where the licensing panel considers that it is in the public interest to do so. Okay, application to review premises license under the Licensing Act 2003, and we will turn now to Mr. John Bryant, Senior Licensing Officer of the District Council.
Chair, thank you. Members, the application before you this morning is an application which is attached to the report Appendix 1, which has been submitted pursuant to Section 51 of the Licensing Act, which has been made by West Sussex Trading Standards for the review of the premises licence at London Road Food and Wine, 65 London Road, East Grinstead. The premises is currently known as Bodrum. The grounds for the review relate to the licensing objectives of the prevention of crime and disorder, the protection of children from harm, and the promotion of public safety. And the review cites the results of an unannounced inspection visit to the premises by Trading Standards, which they conducted on the 14th of November 2025, when there was a seizure of a quantity of illicit or unpaid duty tobacco, a quantity of single-use vapes in the storage area, obstruction to the rear fire exit, and the seizure of 11 bottles of aftershave containing a banned ingredient. During the consultation, two further responsible authorities, West Sussex County Council Public Health and West Sussex Fire and Rescue Service, have also submitted representations in support of the review application. Now, the panel must determine this matter on the evidence presented before it. During the hearing, having due regard to the Licensing Act 2003, the Mid-Sussex District Council licensing policy and the Home Office guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act. Now, the background to the report is the premises, as I said, is situated at 65 London Road, East Grinstead. It's currently trading under the name Bodrum. It's been licensed for the sale of alcohol for consumption off the premises since August 2014 under licence number PWA 0487. The trading company is U Limited, but the premises licence is held by Mr. Ibrahim Kamraman, a director of the company, and the designated premises supervisor is his brother Mehmet. At Appendix 2, the current premises licence and conditions are attached, and the panel will see it's licensed for the sale of retail for alcohol for consumption off the premises every day between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. The opening hours of the premises are 7 a.m. till 11 p.m. As stated, it operates as a local convenience store in East Grinstead Town Centre, and there are some photos of the store attached at Appendix 3 to give the panel some context of the size and type of the store. There are a number of additional conditions which are attached to the licence, in addition to the mandatory licence conditions, and they're detailed within the premises licence which is attached. They are not relevant to the matters under consideration. The Trading Standards have applied for review of the premises licence based on the unannounced visit to the premises which they conducted on the 14th of November, when they seized 16 packs of illicit or unpaid duty tobacco, 1,644 single-use vapes stored on the premises, and 11 bottles of aftershave containing a banned synthetic fragrance ingredient, and they also discovered obstructions to the fire exit. The obstructed fire exit also prompted a follow-up visit by West Sussex Fire Safety Team. You'll see in the report they detail that during the inspection, officers found 16 packs of Benson and Hedges switch cigarettes, which Mr. Ibrahim Kamraman advised the officers were for his personal use, and he showed officers an open packet he had in his pocket. The cigarettes were seized, and he was asked actually why he was smoking illegal cigarettes when the shop actually had a display of legal ones. The seized cigarettes were sent to the brand holder, who stated the cigarettes had been made by British American Tobacco for the Nigerian market. Trading standards do point out that they were dismayed to find these cigarettes on the premises. Obviously, following the lengthy and expensive appeal that the premises licence holder had made against the revocation of his alcohol licence after illicit cigarettes were last found on the premises in January 2024. They also found, as stated, over 1,600 single-use vapes. They detail in their application the requirement for retailers that sell vapes to comply with their distributor obligations, which the premises licence holder was failing to comply. They were also concerned that he had not taken reasonable steps to dispose of this quantity of vapes in a responsible manner. They also seized 11 bottles of aftershave, which according to the label contained a synthetic fragrance ingredient, which has been banned in the UK and EU since 2022. They found the rear fire exit, the rear fire escape at the rear of the premises blocked by stock and packaging, which had been left in front of the fire exit door. And the corridor was also constricted with further stock storage along both sides of the corridor. This was referred to the West Sussex Fire Safety Team, who conducted an immediate inspection of the premises, and that resulted in the responsible person clearing the fire escape routes. In their review application, Trade and Standards highlights Section 144 of the Licensing Act 2003, which relates to the keeping of smuggled goods on premises. And their application also sets out the previous history Trade and Standards have with the premises. And I'm sure Trade and Standards, during their submission to yourselves, will detail their previous history, but it's set out in the report for yourselves. Trade and Standards don't believe that the licensing objectives are being continually upheld by the licence holder, and therefore deem it both proportionate and necessary to invite the committee to consider a review of the premises licence, to limit further criminal activity by the licence holder, to act as a deterrent to other operators considering such illegal conduct, and they also state that no meaningful conditions can be put on the premises licence to deal with smuggled goods and illegal products. Therefore, they seek a revocation of the licence, outlining that this would send a clear message that the licensing authority will not tolerate the sale or storage of smuggled tobacco and the sale or storage of illegal goods within licensed premises in Mid-Sussex. West Sussex County Council Public Health have submitted representations in support of the application. In their representation, they state that they're disappointed to be making a further representation within approximately 2 years and remain seriously concerned that the activity at the premises continues to undermine the licensing objectives. They are supportive of the recommendation by Trade and Standards to consider a review of the licence, and they highlight that the identification of illegal cigarettes during the inspection in November is of serious concern given the well-established harms that illegal and illicit tobacco inflicts on communities and the heightened risks these products pose to children. They detail their concerns from a public health perspective with regards to the sale of illicit tobacco. And in conclusion, they state that the sale of illicit tobacco fails to promote the licensing objective of the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety. The sale of illicit tobacco raises serious questions over whether the DPS is fit and proper to be trusted. They fully support the request made by Trade and Standards for the Licensing Committee to seriously consider a revocation of the premises licence, and as they believe this is necessary, proportionate and reasonable in order to prevent further criminal activity. West Sussex Fire and Rescue Service submitted representations, which are attached to Appendix 6, in support of the application on all 3 grounds. They detail their visit to the premises on the 14th of November, following notification from Trade and Standards, and they found the rear fire escape was blocked with a quantity of stock, and the local crew from East Grinstead had assisted in removing the items to make the fire exit viable in the case of an emergency. They did in fact carry out a follow-up visit to the store on the 23rd of December, where further fire safety deficiencies were noted. They commented on wires from the TV to the TV on top of the shelves. The rear fire exit was partially blocked again by what they were informed was out-of-date merchandise. They note that the fire exit should be kept clear at all times. They also made comments with regard to the office on the first floor, that there was evidence of cooking, specifically with a deep fat fryer and hot plates. And they outlined the dangers posed by these cooking devices and that they needed to be removed. The panel will be aware that this premises licence was subject to review applications on the 8th of November 2023 and the 22nd of May 2024, following previous applications by Trading Standards. The decision of the licensing authority in respect of the review application on the 8th of November 2023 was a 6-week suspension. The decision in respect of the application on the 22nd of May 2024 was a revocation of the premises licence. Both decisions were subject of an appeal by the licence holder, which was dealt with at Brighton Magistrates Court on the 28th of April 2025. At this hearing, Mr Karaman offered to settle the case with a 6-week suspension and the cost of the authority paid in full, which was agreed. The 6-week suspension took effect from the 20th of May. Within the report, the legal context for the application is set out, and also Section 144 of the Licensing Act is also set out in regard to keeping smuggled goods on the premises. The Licensing Act requires the representations to address the 4 licensing objectives, which are the prevention of crime and disorder, promotion of public safety, prevention of public nuisance, and prevention of harm to children and young persons. Also set out in the report, you see guidance which has been issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act, and I would point out various parts of this section to you. At 11.16, it states the Act provides a range of powers for the licensing authority which it may exercise on determining a review when it considers them appropriate for promotion of the licensing objectives. And these steps are to modify the conditions on the premises licence, to exclude a licensable activity from the scope of the licence, to remove the designated premises supervisor, to suspend the licence for a period not exceeding 3 months, or to revoke the licence. And the guidance goes on to state that in deciding which of these powers to invoke, it's expected that the licensing authorities should, so far as possible, seek to establish the cause or causes of the concerns that these representations identify. The remedial action taken should generally be directed at these causes and should always be no more than appropriate and proportionate response to address the causes of concern that instigated the review. The guidance also states at 11.24 that a number of reviews may arise in connection with crime which is not directly connected with licensable activities. For example, reviews may arise because of drugs, problems at the premises, money laundering, the sale of contraband or stolen goods, sale of firearms, etc. Now, licensing authorities do not have the power to judge the criminality or otherwise of any issue. This is a matter for the courts. The licensing authority's role when determining such a review is not therefore to establish guilt or innocence of any individual, but to ensure that the promotion of the licensing objective of crime prevention is upheld. Where a licensing authority is conducting a review on the grounds that the premises has been used for criminal purposes, its role is solely to determine what steps should be taken in connection with the premises licence for the promotion of the crime prevention objective. It is important to recognise that certain criminal activity or associated problems may be taking place or have taken place despite the best efforts of the licence holder and the staff working there, and despite full compliance with the conditions. In such circumstances, the licensing authority is empowered to take any appropriate steps to remedy the problems. The licensing authority's duty is to take steps with the promotion of the licensing objectives in the interests of the wider community and not those of the individual licence holder. And it goes on to state that there's certain criminal activity that may arise in connection with licensed premises which should be treated particularly seriously. And these are the use of the licensed premises for the sale or storage of smuggled tobacco or alcohol. And finally, the guidance goes on to state that it is envisaged that the licensing authorities, police, Home Office and other law enforcement agencies, which are responsible authorities, will use the review procedures effectively to deter such activities and crime. Where reviews arise and the licensing authority determines that the crime prevention objective is being undermined through the premises being used to further crimes, it is expected that the revocation of the licence, even at the first instance, should be seriously considered. I'll turn to the background papers just to detail them for the panel. At Appendix 1, there's the application for review from Trading Standards. At Appendix 2 is the full current premises licence. There are some site photos as stated at Appendix 3. Appendix 4 has the papers relating to the Trading Standards application. Appendix 5 is the representation from West Sussex County Council Public Health, and at 6 is the West Sussex Fire and Rescue representation. And that, members, is the report before yourselves this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bryant. I turn now to Mr. Aston. Do you have any questions from Trading Standards to Mr. Bryant?
Thank you, Chair. No, I don't.
Thank you. Mr. Kahraman, do you or your representative have any questions to the licensing authority? Thank you. And members, any questions to Mr. Bryant? Okay. We move then to Mr. Aston from the Trading Standards to make his representation.
Thank you, Chair. West Sussex County Council Trading Standards have instigated a standard review of the premise licence under Section 51 of the Licensing Act. Trading Standards believes this premises is undermining the licensing objectives, the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, and the protection of children from harm. Trading Standards' purpose for making the review application is to ensure breaches of relevant legislation are brought to the attention of the Licensing Committee, for them to consider the matter fully and consider available options. We respectfully invite the Licensing Authority to review the premise licence of London Food and Wine and determine if it is appropriate to revoke or suspend the licence, invoke specific conditions to the current licence, or remove the DPS. By way of background of my report, I would like to bring to your attention that the work and the sale of supply of illicit tobacco is part of a larger operation known as Operation CC. Operation CC is a joint initiative between National Trading Standards and HMRC. Trading Standards offices in West Sussex are taking action on the ground locally as part of a broader strategy that tackles 3 tiers of criminality, with illegal factories abroad being shut down by HMRC and Border Force, and intercepting smuggled products and cash at the UK border. The illicit tobacco market is estimated by HMRC to cost the UK up to 2.8 billion per year and is made up of mainly cigarettes and hand-rolling tobacco. The illicit market is also entirely driven by organised crime groups. Richard Lass, the head of operations at HMRC, Fraud Investigation Service, said the ongoing collaboration between HMRC and National Trading Standards shows how serious we are about tackling the illegal trade in tobacco. Trade in illegal tobacco undermines legitimate traders, including small independent shops that serve local communities, and takes funding away from our vital services. That's why coordinated activity, such as Operation CC, is vital to ensure that we are creating a level playing field for businesses and citizens. Again, as background for the committee, illegal tobacco can take many different forms, and there can be regional variations in the names it's given. These are the definitions generally understood by health and enforcement partners. Illicit whites are cigarettes which have no legal market in the UK. We have counterfeit or fake cigarettes, tobacco which is illegally manufactured and supplied by a party other than the original trademark or copyright holder, and genuine cigarettes from other countries smuggled into the UK without duty paid, as well as cigarettes made for the UK Genuine cigarettes may include those intended for sale in another country that have been smuggled into the UK, or duty-free cigarettes being illegally resold rather than being for personal use. And this is the case in this instance. In July 24, West Sussex Trading Standards seized nearly £158,000 worth of illicit tobacco in Horsham from one single container. So the committee can see this as a significant local issue. As the committee will be aware, as well as trading illicit tobacco, Trading Standards and with government support have been taking enforcement action on the possession and illegal supply of non-compliant vapes, and this has been widely reported in the local press and nationally. This work is being coordinated under Operation Joseph. The committee will also be aware the illegal sales of vapes to children is of particular concern, with new evidence coming to light that exposure to chemicals such as lead and nickel found in some illegal vapes can affect the central nervous system and brain development in children. For the purpose of this hearing, I want to outline in detail Trading Standards' ongoing concerns and provide some context about this premise and the premise licence holder, in particular since 2023. I appreciate it may be going over old ground, but I think it's important to provide this committee with the full facts in order for you to make a balanced, fair and proportionate decision. The responsible authority received several complaints in April 2023 alleging London Food and Wine at 65 London Road, East Grinstead, was selling e-cigarettes to individuals under the age of 18. On the 18th of April, a complaint was received from a member of the public that their 14-year-old son had been buying vapes from the premises. On the 19th of April 23, a further complaint was received from a member of the public which alleged that the trader had been selling vapes to children as young as 13 on a regular basis. On the 20th of April 23, a member of the public made a complaint that they had witnessed the sale of vapes to a child nearly under the age of 18. On the 2nd of June 2023, in response to this, a Trading Standards officer from the responsible authority conducted an advice visit in relation to selling age-restricted products. The Trading Standards officer spoke to one of the directors of the business, Mr. Karaman, on the phone about the underage sales advice visit. The advice visit continued with one of the shop employees, and several points around age-restricted products and training were discussed during the advice visit. On the 5th of June, a follow-up advice visit, which reiterated what was discussed from the advice visit, was sent to Mr. Karaman's email address. On the 9th of June 23, a member of the public made the following complaint: shop repeatedly selling vapes to 13-year-olds. This is happening on a daily basis with absolutely no age checks. This shop has been reported via this form many times by many concerned parents, and it is still happening. Please help our children by stopping this. On the 25th of June, a member of the public complained the shop was continuing to sell vapes to children under 13, that this situation had been going on for months and the service had received multiple reports from concerned parents. On the 27th of June, as part of an underage sales operation, the responsible authority was carrying out that day a 16-year-old volunteer under the instruction and supervision of the responsible authority entered London Road and Food and Wine. The child volunteer selected one bottle of WKD blue vodka drink and took it to the till. A female working behind the till sold the blue bottle of alcohol to the child volunteer without asking them for any identification. This was evidenced and uncontested, and a 6 weeks licence suspension was issued by Mid Sussex Licensing Committee at a hearing on the 8th of November 2023. This was then subject to an appeal to the Magistrates' Court, and so the suspension did not take effect. On the 3rd of January, Trading Standards officers conducted an inspection at the premises and found 339 packets of Marlborough Touch and Parliament Blue cigarettes in non-standard packaging and foreign labelling contained within a bin bag which had been secreted behind the counter. Both brands were examined by a trade representative and were confirmed to be a genuine product which should have only been on sale in the Turkish market. Due to the packaging and print not being in English, both branded items contravened tobacco-related products regulations. Wording on tobacco products should be clearly displayed in English within the UK, resulting in these items being non-compliant. These cigarettes should not have been in the UK, and no duty or taxes would have been paid on them, meaning that Mr. Karaman was committing an offence of fraudulently avoiding excise duty contrary to Section 170 of the Customs Excise Management Act of 1972, and also by having smuggled goods on his licensed premises. Mr. Karaman was also committing an offence under Section 144 of the Licensing Act. This matter resulted in the premise being the subject of a further licence review. On the 31st of January 2024, a complaint was received from a member of the public who reported seeing a child being sold a vape in the shop. Inquiries with the complainant revealed that the child, a boy, was wearing a school uniform from Sackville School, that he was served by a dark-haired foreign male who did not request identification. On the 22nd of May 24, Mid Sussex District Council held a review of the premise licence under Section 52 of the Licensing Act. This resulted in a revocation of the alcohol licence as a reasonable, proportionate and appropriate response to uphold the licensing objectives. Mr. Karaman made an appeal against this revocation, which was listed for hearing on the 2nd and 3rd of December, and then subsequently adjourned until the 28th and 29th of April, nearly a year after the revocation by this committee. After opening submissions at the hearing, as you've heard, on the 28th of April, the premise licence holder, via his barrister, offered to settle the case with a 6-week suspension agreement to pay Mid Sussex District Council's significant costs that they had occurred, which was agreed. Trading Standards fully supported Mid Sussex District Council, providing witness evidence and officer attendance at both hearings. I would also point out that Mr. Karaman provided his own witness statement for the court case and stated within it, "I accept that I've made a serious mistake in storing non-duty paid tobacco at the business premises. This should not have happened. I have learned my lesson and this will certainly not be repeated in future." In summary, I take this application very seriously and will ensure that this unfortunate incident will never be repeated. Then, on the 14th of November, Trading Standards officers conducted an inspection of the premises. During the inspection, officers found 320 sticks or 13 packets of Benson and Hedges switch cigarettes in non-standard packaging and in the rear storage area of the shop. The sole director of the company, Mr. Karaman, advised officers that these cigarettes were for his personal use and showed officers an open packet which he had in his pocket. Trading Standards do not accept this explanation. In our experience, this is the typical modus operandi of a business selling illicit tobacco. Officers seized these along with other packets, and Mr. Karaman was asked why he was smoking illegal cigarettes when his shop had a gantry full of legal cigarettes. His response was that the officers did not understand. The Benson and Hedges switch cigarettes have been sent to the brand holder for analysis, and as you've heard, the brand holder stated that these cigarettes were made by British American Tobacco for the Nigerian market. Officers were dismayed to find these cigarettes on the premises following the lengthy and expensive appeal that Mr. Karaman had made against the revocation of his licence. After these illegal cigarettes that were found last time on the premises in January 2024. Under Section 144 of the Licensing Act, regarding the keep and smuggled goods, namely tobacco on licensed premises, it states a person to whom subsection 2 applies commits an offence if he knowingly keeps or allows to be kept on any relevant premises any goods which have been imported without payment of duty, of which or which have otherwise been unlawfully imported. Under the Customs and Excise Management Act 1979, any person knowingly concerned in the fraudulent evasion of duty chargeable on tobacco products commits an offence which has a maximum 7-year imprisonment. On further inspection of the storage area, officers were also able to locate boxes of single-use vapes. Mr. Caraman claimed that he'd removed these from sale on the 1st of June 2025, when the Environmental Protection Single-Use Vapes England Regulations 24 came into force and the sale of single-use vapes was banned. Under these regulations, a person who supplies, offers to supply, or has in their possession for supply a single-use vape is guilty of an offence and is liable on summary conviction to a fine. He claimed that he was at a loss of how to dispose of these, so just kept them in storage. However, officers noted that they were not marked for disposal or not for sale. Again, trading standards do not accept this explanation from Mr. Caraman. He would have been well aware of the ban and the action to take with any remaining stock. The government published information for businesses on this back in January 2025. And a quick Google search would have provided the answer. Officers counted the vapes and found a total of 1,644, which was a considerable number based on the size of the vapes area in the shop. Retailers who sell vapes or other electronic equipment must also comply with their distributor obligations under the Waste Electrical and Electronic Equipment, that's the WEEE regulations, 2013. Mr. Caraman continues to sell vapes and has failed in his obligations to provide a take-back scheme and arrange for an approved waste contractor to collect and dispose of old and returned vapes. Had he met his obligations, he would not have been at a loss as how to dispose of the large quantity of disposable vapes he was storing. Also during the visit on the 14th, officers seized 11 bottles of aftershave, which according to the label contained a banned chemical. This is a synthetic fragrant ingredient which was formerly widely used in cosmetic products, but which has been banned in the UK and the EU since 2022 because of evidence it can harm the human reproductive system. According to the label, the products have been manufactured in 2017. Mr. Caraman is not able to provide an invoice for the products, although he did identify 2 wholesalers in North London whom he said sold it. Both of these businesses named have already responded to inquiries and have stated that they do not sell the product. The lack of traceability of this product is a breach of the regulations. A distributor of cosmetic products must, at the request of trading standards, identify the trader who supplied them with a cosmetic product. Non-compliance of an offence is contrary to the Regulation 12 of the Cosmetic Product Enforcement Regulations. This product has been subject of a safety alert on the EU Safety Gate. It has also been published as a UK Product Safety Alert issued by the Government's Office of Product and Safety Standards. The manufacturer, according to the EU Safety Gate alert, says that this product is manufactured in Turkey, and according to Companies House website, Mr. Caraman is a Turkish national. The cigarettes seized on the 3rd of January 2024 were also for the Turkish market. Officers also found the fire escape in the rear of the premise blocked by stock and packaging, which has been left in front of the designated fire exit door. The corridor leading to this exit was also constricted by further stock storage along both sides of the corridor. Officers obtained photographs, which are in the bundle, of the fire exit and corridor, which were referred as a matter of urgency to West Sussex Fire and Rescue, who conducted an immediate inspection of the premise. This resulted in the responsible person clearing the fire escape routes and ensuring that the fire escape door was unlocked during trading hours. However, West Sussex Fire and Rescue, as you've heard, followed up this incident with a further inspection on the 23rd of December 2025 and identified further non-compliance, including the rear fire exit partially blocked without date stock. I'd like to draw to your attention of the subcommittee the LGA Handbook on the Licensing Act 2003, which states the primary purpose of a review is to act as a deterrent to prevent further breaches. It can also present any licensable activities which are causing concern from happening in future. The purpose of a prosecution is punitive, and for licensing offences, a review with the threat of revocation or suspension can often be more of a deterrent. Further reasoning in bringing this review is a revised guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003, updated in February 26. It makes the following points. The proceedings set out in the 2003 Act for reviewing premises licences and club premises certificates represents a key protection for the community. Where authorised persons and responsible authorities have concerns about problems identified at premises, it is good practice for them to give licence holders early warning of their concerns and the need for improvement, and where possible they should advise the licence or certificate holder of the steps they need to take to address those concerns. A failure by the holder to respond to such warnings is expected to lead to a decision to apply for a review, which Trading Standards have done, and this committee has also done. In regards to reviews arising from and in connection with crime, a number of reviews may arise in connection with crime that is not directly connected with licensable activities. For example, reviews may arise because of drug problems at the premises, money laundering, criminal gangs and the sale of contraband or stolen goods, the sale of firearms or the sexual exploitation of children. Licensing authorities do not have the power to judge the criminality or otherwise of any issue. This is a matter for the courts. The licensing authority's role when determining such a review is not therefore to establish the guilt or innocence of any individual, but to ensure the promotion of the licensing objectives. Reviews are part of the regulatory process introduced by the 2003 Act, and they are not part of criminal law and procedure. There is therefore no reason why representations giving rise to a review of a premise licence need to be delayed pending the outcome of any criminal proceedings. Where the licensing authority is conducting a review on the grounds that the premises has been used for criminal purposes, its role is solely to determine what steps should be taken in connection with the premise licence for the promotion of the crime prevention objectives. There is certain criminal activity that may arise in connection with licensed premises which should be treated particularly seriously. These are the use of the premise licence for the sale and distribution of drugs controlled under the Misuse of Drugs Act and the laundering and proceeds of drugs crime. Now, whilst I'm not alleging drugs, there is a case to be answered in respect of money laundering offences and the proceeds of crime from the sale of illicit tobacco and other goods. Proceeds of crime is a term given to money or assets gained by criminals during the course of their criminal activity. It goes on to say, for the illegal purchase and consumption of alcohol by minors as the base for organised criminal activity, particularly by gangs, and for the sale or storage of smuggled tobacco. It is envisaged that licensing authorities, the police, the Home Office, Immigration Enforcement and other law enforcement agencies which are responsible authorities will use the review procedures effectively to deter such activities and crime. Where reviews arise and the licensing authority determines that the crime prevention objective is being undermined through the premises being used for further crimes, it is expected that revocation of the licence, even in the first instance, should be seriously considered. In conclusion, the responsible authority do not have confidence the licensing objectives are or will be promoted by the continuation of licence activities at the premise, and deem it both proportionate and necessary for the committee to consider a review of the premises licence for the third time, to limit further criminal activity by the licence holder and to act as a deterrent against such illegal conduct. The trade in illegal tobacco, illegal vapes and other illegal products harms local authorities and communities, affects honest businesses operating within the law and undermines local and national efforts that have been made to reduce smoking and improve health. Selling illicit products in particular fails to prevent further crimes and disorder by funding those who illegally import and produce such products, not to mention the profit made by the seller through the avoidance of duty charges and other taxes. Trading standards have provided a new and detailed conditions the committee could impose on the premise licence. Unfortunately, there really are no meaningful conditions that can be put on a premise licence to deal with smuggled goods and illegal products. Therefore, the responsible authorities seek a revocation of the licence. We believe this would send a clear message that the licensing authority will not tolerate the sale or storage of smuggled tobacco and the sale or storage of illegal goods within any licensed premises in Mid Sussex. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Aston. Mr Bryant, any questions?
No questions, Chair.
Mr Kahraman, any questions? No. Members, any questions to trading standards?
Thank you. I think I ought to know it by now. Putting aside what powers we have, I'm just interested in what powers you have, just particularly in relation to selling of the illicit tobacco and these vapes.
Yes, Council, we have extensive powers to prosecute these cases.
Okay, thank you.
And can I ask, do you seize the smuggled goods when they're found?
That's correct, and we seize them, and we, at vast cost to ourselves, are destroying any products that we find on premises.
Thank you. Right, we move on now to the licence holder, if he'd like to say anything, or his representative. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, my name is Marita. I've been with the Brothers for about 5 years. My background is HR, so I was recently moved to the East Grinstead shop to bring it up to standards with policies and procedures. First of all, I just want to address the seizure of the cigarettes. With regret to the tobacco products found in the staff-only back room, I wish to clarify that those items were entirely for personal use and were never intended for commercial sale or distribution. The items in question were stored in a private, non-public area away from the shop floor and were at no point integrated into the business inventory. No customers had access to these products and there was no record of such items being offered for sale or processed through our sale of points. We acknowledge that storing these personal items on the business premises was a significant error in judgment. The decision to keep them there was motivated solely by a personal domestic situation. While we realise now that there was an inappropriate location for storage, I reiterate that it was a personal storage and not for commercial enterprise. I have implicated a strict no personal storage policy for all staff and management to ensure the boundary between personal property and the business stock is never blurred again. Regarding the vapes, I want to formally address and categorically deny the allegations made against Bodrum in the sale of vapes products to minors. These claims are entirely false and not only supported by evidence, documentation or factual occurrence. Our professional conduct consistently aligns with UK tobacco and related products regulations, which strictly prohibits the sale of nicotine products to the underage 18. The accusation as it stands is defamatory and damaging to his professional reputation. Without specific details or proof of sale or credible witnesses' testimony, these claims constitute harassment based on hearsay. I regret that these unfounded allegations be dismissed immediately. Should the false claims continue to be pursued without proof, I reserve the right to seek legal counsel to protect my reputation and rights. I am happy to cooperate with any formal investigation that relies on factual evidence such as CCTV footage or transaction logs, as I am confident that this will prove my full compliance with the law. Sale of alcohol to minor. We recognise the gravity of the situation and breach of our licensing conditions, and we have implicated the following immediate and permanent changes moving forward. Staffing and accountability. Following a formal investigation into the matter, the staff member involved is no longer employed at the premises. We have reviewed the roles of all remaining staff, and authority to sell alcohol has been restricted to those who have demonstrated 100% competency in age verification procedures. Comprehensive training. Every member of staff has completed mandatory training on the Challenge 25 policy and physical examination of ID cards. The cologne. The Turkish cologne was intended for retail sales, and we were unaware that the product contains a banned ingredient. We source the product from a reputable supplier, and we rely on the supplier's representations that the product complied with the UK cosmetic requirements. Bodrum has no prior history of non-compliance with the product safety laws. That is it.
Thank you very much, Marita. Questions from Mr. Bryant to...
No, Chair, nothing from myself.
Okay, questions from Mr. Aston?
Yeah, I have one question. When the officers attended the premise, you said that one of your responses to the officers was it they didn't understand. I wondered if you would like to explain what you meant by that.
What do you mean? I didn't get the question.
On one of the visits, the officers were told by himself that they didn't understand about why the products were on the premises. I wondered if you could explain that.
When they visit a store,
Yeah.
on your case, when you talk about the previous visiting, they visited us, they explained to us, no one came to store and inform us about complain, about report, nothing. That your case, which is you read it, is completely wrong. When last time they came to store, okay, and already when they came into store, I told them I got a vape. It's in back storeroom, and it's not for sale. And I didn't want to throw the bin, and because that's illegal. And they told me it's okay. We will destroy for you them, and we can take them and destroy for you. I said okay, take. And they checked everywhere, and then they only find that Colonia. And they said it's 2023. It's one thing is in there. It's not legal in this country. I said I didn't know that, and they took their products away, and the rest I don't know.
Thank you.
Members, any questions?
Thank you, Chair. The cigarettes that were found, were they illicit cigarettes, and had duty been paid on those cigarettes?
The cigarettes you find, day before, one of our customers just came from holiday. He brought for me. Even I didn't want to. Even I told officers, we can check the cameras. It's the day before, the gentleman came from holiday. He brought for me, even I didn't want, he left on a corner. Then I took a back room. And I don't know, he's been duty paid or not. The gentleman came from he's African guy. He came from holiday. He's the customers.
And he brought you,
And he brought me as a
he
present.
brought you a present.
As a present, yeah. Even no any buying or nothing, I don't know how to explain, but I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm
That's
trying
nice
to improve.
customers.
I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to follow rules, try my best, and now I'm stay on the till and make sure because Mr. Peter was talking about underage vapes, selling vapes and tobacco, alcohol, that kind of thing. Is no anyone in the shop did this one, and they don't have any evidence. They're just making up some stories.
Okay. And if I may, Chair, I've got one more question. In terms of the vapes, the single-use vapes, why haven't you disposed of them?
Because I didn't know where to take it, and I just took in the back stock room, and just it was in the boxes. It's nothing on the shop floor, and I told the officers as well. It's not for sale, and I didn't know. And they said we can destroy for you. That's it. That's all what happened there.
Okay, Councillor Bedgreen, any questions?
Yes, I'm slightly surprised.
Put the mic on, yeah.
Sorry, I'm slightly surprised that you didn't check with the suppliers how to dispose of the vapes. And secondly, I accept the cigarettes may well have come back with somebody from holiday, but surely that sort of amount is way beyond what you are normally allowed to bring back.
It was from my old stock, and wasn't for sale, and I didn't think as the suppliers how to destroy them, and I just it was in the back stock room. It's far away from the service area, and it's been in the boxes. It's been most of them being sealed, and even if I want to do anything illegal, if I wanted to sell them, I could sell them, just give you very cheap prices, but I didn't do that because if it's illegal, I just took them away, and I started to sell the new products. Even it cost me more money, but I didn't mind it because it's illegal to sell them. So I just took the back stockroom. So it's nothing for sale.
Thank you.
Can I ask, how many other exits were there to the shop, apart from the fire exit and the front? Any other exits?
The back one, two exits, front and the back.
And back, okay,
Yes.
right. Were you keeping your logbook up to date in terms of refusals of sales?
Yes.
You were, okay, because there's some suggestion there was only once a month something was written in, and that didn't necessarily represent.
The last visit, they checked all my logbooks. Everything was up to date, no any problems. They did check out everything, and they said everything is okay.
Okay. And would you normally keep all your invoices for things that you buy in to sell? And why didn't you for the cologne?
Because the cologne has been more than years ago, and the invoices, you cannot keep 1 year invoices. Every month I send the invoices to a counter to load on the computer. So we don't keep any invoices.
But somebody could retrieve those, the accountant could retrieve those invoices, perhaps. or not?
If they did ask me for evidence, I could ask for a counter to find out the invoices for me on the computer.
Okay.
We don't keep actual invoices in store. Every couple of weeks, we send them to a counter.
Okay. Did your brother know that you had smuggled cigarettes or a present of cigarettes, illegal cigarettes on the premises?
No.
You didn't? Okay. Thank you very much. No further questions. Mr. Aston, would you like to sum up? Anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, that wasn't prepared. I'd just like to reiterate that the responsible authority do not have confidence that the premise will uphold the licensing objectives going forward, as demonstrated by the illegal activity at this premise since early 2023. It is clear and very disappointing in our view that the people involved in this premises, particularly Mr. Karaman, seem to have no intention of promoting the licensing objectives. The responsible authority believes that the repeated and serious non-compliance and serial offending displays a blatant disregard and contempt for the law that seriously undermines all the licensing objectives. Mr. Karaman and his brother Mehmet Karaman, as DPS, have shown a total disregard for the law over a number of years now, and we believe robust action by the committee should be taken to serve as a clear deterrent to other businesses who continue to sell and store smuggled tobacco, illegal vapes, and sell restricted products to children. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So now we're going to retire to consider our decision, and we'll come back and tell you, I should say, we'll be at least 20 minutes. So if you want to get a coffee or something. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. So I hand over to Olivia Davies, our barrister, who will read our decision.
The Licensing Subcommittee has considered an application for a review of the premises licence of London Road Food and Wine, 65 London Road, East Grinstead, RH19 1EQ, brought under Section 51 of the Licensing Act 2003. The application was brought by Trading Standards as a responsible authority. The subcommittee has considered the licensing objectives which it must promote, all 4 of which it considers are relevant to this review. Those objectives are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. The subcommittee has considered the guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003 and its own statement of licensing policy. The committee has considered all the representations made to it, both in writing and orally, by the responsible authority, the senior licensing officer, and the premises licence holder. Having considered these matters and having deliberated in private, the subcommittee has reached a decision. A summary of that determination will be given now, and the full decision letter and the reasons underlying the decision will follow. This is in accordance with Regulation 26(2) of the Licensing Act Hearings Regulations. In accordance with that provision, the subcommittee will send a copy of its full decision within 5 working days of today's hearing. In accordance with Section 52(3) of the Licensing Act 2003, the subcommittee has had regard to the relevant representations and what steps, if any, in Section 52(4) are appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. The subcommittee has decided that the revocation of the licence is the only measure available to it under Section 52(4) which will ensure the promotion of the licensing objectives. Accordingly, the subcommittee has decided to revoke the premises licence. The subcommittee has reached this decision having decided on the balance of probabilities to prefer the evidence of the responsible authority to that of the premises licence holder as to the allegations concerning the keeping on site of illicit cigarettes and vapes, the open sale of aftershave containing an impermissible ingredient, and the obstruction of fire exits. In accordance with paragraph 8 of Schedule 5 to the Licensing Act, the review applicant, the premises licence holder, and any other person who made relevant representations has a right of appeal against the subcommittee's decision. Any appeal must be brought within 21 days, beginning with the day on which the appellant was notified of the decision.
Thank you very much, and that concludes our business. If you could just stay sitting for a few seconds while the recording finishes. Thank you.